waiting for a video for quite some time to explain or make a point when it comes to survival. Now, in many videos, I have talked about my 5 steps or 5 ways to avoid a gunfight. And I said I was going to change the title of that, of avoiding a gunfight, to winning a gunfight. Because whether you win by shooting or you win by not shooting, you win. So 5 ways, 5 rules to win a gunfight. Well, this video is the perfect video to explain that. What I'm about to show you is from Active Self-Protection. You know, he says the things that he says and whatnot, and that's cool, so go watch his stuff. But from my perspective, from somebody who's been involved in it, who's been there, who's experienced this, you know, multiple times, I want to go through some things. Because regardless if we're talking the Wild West or now or anything in between, being fast on your draw has more to do with your awareness than the speed of pulling the gun out. Now, you do need to have a fast draw. It can only help, right? But what it's really about is being able to be aware, read, and don't assume everything's okay. All right. And there's a list. There's things we got to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and press play. You're going to hear Mr. John Correa speak and whatnot, but I'm going to play it and then I'm going to bring it back and talk about it. So here we go.
Dudes are walking up on that rear car with its brakes on, and watch the guy who's closest. We're going to see 3 dudes come on scene, and as the first dude draws his gun, the guy's ready for him, puts multiple shots in him while his buddies run off. And now we're going to see here again, he's got at least a couple of shots in him, and dude decides to lay his firearm down. I think he actually yeeted it a little bit as he fell. So the other 2 guys are off and down the road, have forgot, decided.
All right. So I'm going to go back a little bit, but I'm going to go right now. I'm going to go through the 5 rules to winning a gunfight. Rule number 1, defensive profiling. Defensive profiling, to make it easier for some, awareness. But defensive profiling is a specific thing directed strictly to, humans, right? So defensive profiling, there's people walking up behind your car. You're checking them out. Do they look iffy? Do they look like they might be? Who knows, right? But be aware. Defensive profiling. You're checking them out. Now, if it was a mom and their child walking down the street, I wouldn't be alarmed, right? Defensive profiling. 3 young males walking down the street, yeah, I'm alarmed, because that's typically what you get robbed by. Not a mother and their child. It's typically, multiple guys, even whether it be one guy or multiple. But usually, actually, multiple. Okay, which is even more reason why you need to have superior firepower. So anyway, 3 guys walking up behind my vehicle. Now, let me explain something to you guys. I do this now. And to maybe some of you, if you were driving with me or you were hanging out with me for a day or whatever, some of you might actually think, even you who are gun owners, some of you may think, man, this guy is on edge. And I'm not, man. Like, I'm so comfortable. I'm so relaxed. I'm so happy. But my awareness is off the charts. And it's because I've been through crap, but it's also because I was raised by someone who went through a lot of crap. 2 people, actually. Okay. My grandfather on my mom's side and my father. Real life things. And so I was raised this way to be crazy aware. So my awareness, if I'm in the car and I see 3 guys walking up behind me, a lot of guys won't react to that. A lot of guys will just look like, oh, I was just paying attention to them and that's it. I will actually take my gun out and put it in my lap. That's what I do. Okay. And that's what this guy did. And if he didn't, he lost. He lost if he didn't. This wasn't some crazy fast draw he had. He seen 3 guys walking up behind him and he drew his gun. His gun was already out. So let's go through the rules. 1, defensive profiling. Number 2, this is important. Put yourself in the most ready position without escalating the situation. That is extremely important. That is exactly what this guy did. See, in the case that it's not a thing, you don't want to have your gun out and three guys are walking by like, what the hell's wrong with you, bro? Now you've brandished your gun. You can be breaking the law and possibly going to jail depending on where you're at in America, right? So there's that. Okay. So you need to be smart, be intelligent, and know how far can you go without escalating the situation. In other words, without the subjects seeing your gun, right? If they see your gun too early and they're not a problem, that can be a problem. If they see your gun too early and they're in a better position than you are, you still can lose. You understand? If this, for instance, if the guy was, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. Okay. Now,
car with its brakes on and watch the guy.
Let's just say right here. Okay. Right there where he's at. Let's just say those windows weren't tint. Let's say somehow he seen that this guy pulled his gun out in the car. He's seen that the guy in the car pulled his gun out and he's right there. Well, this guy in the car is at a bad like position. So if he sees that guy in the car has his gun out already, if he wants to take it there, he can draw his weapon and completely annihilate this guy in this car and his wife who's in the car with him, whoever that may be. His advantage of not sitting down, being stuck in a vehicle in one spot is horrible. It's horrible. And so there's multiple reasons why you don't want to let the person see your firearm until absolutely necessary. Put yourself in the most ready position without escalating the situation. Don't let them know that you have the gun. Don't let them see a gun. But if you can put that gun in your hands with a two-handed grip, ready to go, and they can't see it, you are in the most ready position without escalating the situation. If they can't see it, it's not escalated to them, right? However, there are certain situations where you're not in your car. So what do? Well, I'll put my hand, I'll grip my shirt with my right hand, the hand closest to where my gun is in the holster, concealed carrying, and I'll grip my shirt because that's just one less step I have to do to get to my gun. So I'll grip my shirt. Now the person in front of me or behind me in line at the corner store, is none the wiser. I'm just gripping my shirt. It doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look, any type of way. I very discreetly grab onto my shirt. I'm putting myself in the most ready position without escalating the situation. But I've been in my car, like I've been in this situation, right? And my situation, I got lucky. I didn't have to actually shoot somebody, but it was pretty close. And the guy had a gun too. But I was in the situation and I had the gun out in my hand, laying my hand in my lap, gun in my hand. At that time, I had a revolver, 5-shot. After that day, I never carried a revolver again because I had multiple attackers and understood the importance of capacity in real life. Like I felt it, There's a difference between being online or looking at, talking about it. Oh, I only need this, and all that good jazz. But when you're in it, that's a different story. So put yourself in the most ready position without escalating the situation. Number one, defensive profiling. Be aware. Peep your targets. Peep the people that are around you. If something don't feel right, put yourself in the most ready position without escalating the situation. If you can get your gun out in hand, that is the best. That is awesome. What if they're nothing? What if it's nothing? What if they're just kids walking by? Okay. No harm, no foul. Put your gun back in your holster. You lost nothing by taking your gun out, right? Okay. Number 3, take control of the situation. And that starts going into another conversation that I don't want to get too deep into right now because those didn't come into play here. And it's the reason why I have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. because it's in order of importance. And here, what you're seeing is in my 5 steps, number 1 and number 2 was really all that was needed. And then it was go time. All right. So let's go back. Let's peep this again. Let's go back just a little bit here.
Dudes are walking up on that rear car with its brakes on, and watch the guy who's closest. We're going to see.
All right. At right there, bare minimum, gun should be out. I might even be relaxed. But here's another thing, guys. If you are new to my channel and you have not seen the AMPM setup, please go back. Go back. It's like 2-3 years, like 3 years, maybe even 4 years back. Or you can even search it. But type in AMPM, you'll find it. The AMPM setup. In the AMPM setup, I explained that I rolled my window down when I felt danger. And I do this because I don't want to shoot through glass, because my projectiles are not, my bullet is not going where I'm aiming specifically. I don't want that in my way. That's something that can just throw things off. So whenever I feel something's off or whatever, not only am I grabbing my gun, I'm rolling the window down. And this is the reason why. When I need to fire, I don't want to fire through the window. I need straight, accurate shots. I need to take this guy down. Okay? So by this point right here, my window's down, gun in my hand, and I'm looking at these guys. I'm on them. Okay? So let's go back just a little bit here. Okay.
Dudes are walking up on that rear car with its brakes on, and watch the guy who's closest. We're going to see 3 dudes come on scene, and as the...
So having that gun out, the reason why is because you need to control the drop. The reason why you want to put yourself in the most ready position without escalating the situation is because the goal is to own the drop. I have dominated every situation I've been in because I own the drop. I know this because I was taught by my father. I was taught by my grandfather. Since I was a child, I wasn't even thinking about this stuff. I heard them talk about it because they've been on the other side. They've been at that point where they go, man, I wish I owned the drop. And they taught me this as I grew up. He who owns the drop usually dominates the situation. In my life, I have dominated to perfection damn near because I completely own the drop. And that's what it's all about. It's not about being able to get your first shot off. You don't want to have to shoot. If you have to, you're going to shoot, survive. But in many cases, you've dominated the drop so well that they are like, okay, guns in their waist and everything. They're like, oh, no. This is, there's no way I can even get to my gun. And they get the hell out of there. And I've been there before. I've had somebody at gunpoint who had a gun in their hoodie, in their pocket. I've been there. I owned the drop. I've been there more than once, right? So that's what's extremely important, because when you own the drop, if they decide to go through with that draw anyway, here's what can happen to them.
First dude draws his gun, the guy's ready for him, puts more.
It's not about having a fast draw, ladies and gentlemen. It is about awareness, defensive profiling, awareness, and knowing when to draw your firearm or put yourself in the most ready position without escalating the situation, and make sure you own the drop. Those key things are so extremely important to win, okay? To win. I am not talking out of my ass. I do this for real, not for thrills. Not because I want to or think it's cool, it's because I had to. Let's go back and watch this one more time. A little bit more. There we go.
Dudes are walking up on that rear car with its brakes on, and watch the guy who's closest. We're going to see 3 dudes come on scene, and as the first dude draws his gun, the guy's ready for him, puts multiple shots in him while his buddies run off. And now we're going to see here again, he's got at least a couple of shots in him, and dude decides to lay his firearm down. I think he actually yeeted it a little bit as he fell. So the other two guys are off and down the road, have decided that they had left the oven on, had better things to do than try to have a gunfight with somebody who's willing to fight back. So no honor among thieves, right? And our defender here is going to get a ways over, and we're going to have something interesting to talk about here in a little while. Our defender comes over and secures the firearm of the dude that he has had to defend himself against, while one of his partners here is going to grab the car and start to get it inside.
That's all, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, defensive profiling or awareness. Number two, put yourself in the most ready position without escalating the situation. Why? To own the drop. 3, take control of the situation. 4, de-escalate the situation. And 5 is the floater. 5 can be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It just all depends on the individual scenario. 5 is leave. That's how you win. That's how you survive. Thanks for listening in and watching this, guys. I've been waiting for a video like this for quite some time. So glad it's here. I wish I would have had this video along without the ASP, but it is what it is. What's important is that I get this information out. That's all I care about, because it could save somebody's life. And this is real talk. This is real life. So keep your eyes open. Awareness is more important than even the gun. But it's all a package. Keep your eyes open. Whammy out.